Hey everybody, I'm Dan. Let's get right to it. When I drive over to our house, I pass a community that's got a bunch of they have to be $700,000 homes. They're beautiful homes, and hardly any of them have impact windows. They have non-impact windows. They have the bolt and screw holes around them, or maybe the pegs, and you've got to put up steel corrugated shutters to protect the houses. And I've seen people do this in the many storms we've had since we've lived here. Got winds blowing, people are fighting with panels, two or three of them. You got a guy up on a ladder blowing around, they're trying to put the panels up. I just don't get it. And there's a couple of houses there, they have these $130,000 pool cages with pools and spas, and yet they have cheap impact protection, and it's a non-impact window with a corrugated shutter. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because in Florida, if you're building a house, except in certain regions, you have to have impact protection. So in certain regions, you have to have impact windows and impact doors. But in most regions, it's up to the builder to say, hey, look, you can either put a non-impact window in with some extra added hurricane protection that you add afterward, or you can put an impact window. It's your choice. And a lot of times it's predicated on cost. Does the consumer want to pay for it? Does the home buyer want to pay for it? Does the builder want to pay for it? These are the things that come up. So that's what makes the argument interesting. And a lot of it's just driven by cost. But here's a little bit about windows. I've got an article here from Legal Clarity Florida. That's Legal Clarity Florida. And it's entitled, Are Impact Windows Required in Florida? It states that Florida does not have a blanket rule requiring that all existing homes have impact windows. Instead, it only requires these upgrades for certain single-family homes during specific projects. If you put a building permit out on a house and it costs more than 50 grand, or if the house is valued at more than 750,000 and the property is in a designated wind-borne region, which we'll get to shortly, then impact protection may be required. The other thing to realize, and you'll see this, this will come to mind and probably in your jurisdiction, even if you're outside of Florida. The current Florida building code does not require that people upgrade their windows as the code changes. For example, we had a house that was built in 1997. We bought it in 2011, and then we installed impact windows in 2012. We spent about $1,000 a piece on some nice impact insulated windows, and it made the house more energy efficient. It cut the noise level in half. Outside noise just didn't come to the house. It was very quiet, very peaceful. It was very nice. But there was a cost involved, and we bore that cost. Now, that building was built back in 97. Back in 97, the only thing that was required was windows. It was non-impact windows. And there were windows available back then, but they've come a long way now. And you want today's impact windows over yesterday's, that's for sure. But the fact is, it had non-impact windows, and that was what the code required at the time. So homeowners do not have to keep up with the code. In Florida, the building code is upgraded every 3 years. It would drive people into the poorhouse if they had to change their windows out every 3 years as the code changed, or whatever it happens to be. So that's why you see a lot of homes. It could be this home that we lived in from 2012 and then we sold in 2022 when we bought our new house. It could be 50 years old, still have the old non-impact windows, and as long as they were installed properly back during the 97 code period, you're compliant, you're fine. So that's just an interesting thing. Now we can roll over to when windows are actually required. If you've got local governments, like say in Miami-Dade and Broward County, that have a high velocity hurricane zone, and you'll see that in the B-roll. We're going to show a picture here of Florida. This is a 2023 map of the wind-borne debris regions. You can look at Florida, and it looks like it's got a beard on it on the peninsula. Basically, wrapping around the lower part of the peninsula is an area where on the southeast, which would be the lower right side, is a high-velocity hurricane zone with winds that are greater than 160, 170 miles an hour. And then you'll see the wind-borne debris-rated zones down in the southwest of Florida, and then in the upper left in the panhandle, where they show the lines going up to 150. So with regard to that, there are certain areas that require impact protection in new homes. Now, the insurance companies are a big driver of this, because the insurance companies get paid by us to assume the risk of taking care of or insuring our home in case of a loss. So if a storm or something were to come through, we expect a payout from the insurance company because we've paid for to have them take care of it. Now, insurance companies offer great incentives, many of them do, if you invest in passive hurricane protection. If you have non-impact windows in your house and you have to actively roll down a shutter, or if you have to actively install a polycarbonate or a steel corrugated shutter, that's called an active system. Insurance companies prefer passive systems. Put impact windows and doors in your building. You don't have to do anything. You just write a check, in some cases a big one, and the insurance company will give you insurance discounts, most of them will, and they will help to offset the cost of putting those windows in because, hey, you're lowering your risk of destruction and damage from a storm, and the insurance company's risk is therefore lowered. So that works out. So insurance premiums are a large driver behind a decision of whether to upgrade from non-impact windows to impact windows. It's almost a subsidy in some sorts. Now, impact windows, according to aspwindows.com, can cost maybe half again as much as a non-impact window does. So cost is a big driver. And again, I'll go back to these $700,000 homes. I see so many of them with just standard non-impact windows. And again, with the people scurrying around at the last minute trying to protect those window coverings on the first and second floor, when they could have opted, if the builder had the option, or they could have invested afterward in putting in impact windows and not messing around with that. But they had no problem dropping $130,000 to put a swimming pool in a spa and a big screen cage and maybe an outdoor kitchen. So that's fun money in action. You know, fun money is fun to spend. It's not fun to spend money on things like an impact garage door or roll down shutters or impact windows. This is human nature. This is the way it goes. Me personally, if I were living in a house like that, I would rather have passive impact windows. They'd be done. I don't have to worry about it. But that's why we see these $700,000 homes with just standard non-impact windows. It just blows my mind. Well, anyway, according to ASP Windows, they wrote an article back in 2023, in October 2023, back when the 8th edition of the Florida Building Code came out. Florida Building Code gets updated every 3 years. And back in October 2023 was when the update came out, late 2023. It is now early 2026. So this year, the Florida Building Code should be updated again. This will be the 9th edition coming out. But back then, they were hurricane current. That's what I call it. Our new home was built in 2023. We live there now. It was built to the current hurricane codes at the time. Their article is entitled, Does Florida Building Code Require Impact Windows and Doors? And we've already answered some of those questions. There are some counties in the high velocity hurricane zones that do require new construction to have impact windows, and a lot of them don't. As long as you have a means of protection of the opening, that works. Remember again that $50,000 permit level and $750,000 value of a home. If those thresholds are crossed, then depending on the jurisdiction, some impact openings may be mandated. Passive impact openings may be mandated for the openings. Now, there are different kinds of window protection, and it's based on design pressure calculations, etc. Because here's the whole thing with impact protection. As I try to flip this page here. What you're trying to do is you're trying to keep the wind out. You're trying to keep the rain out. You're trying to keep debris from flying through your house. You're trying to keep the wind out because if wind blows into your home through a window that gets breached, let's say a non-impact window, a glass breaks because a branch hits it or a roof tile flies through it or something, now wind can rush into that small opening, pressurize your house envelope, cause structure problems on the walls, and possibly blow your roof off. When you have impact windows not only protect against impact, they also protect against pressure. This is a subject for another video, but if you use roll-down shutters or you use corrugated shutters over a non-impact window, you're not protecting against pressure because pressure can rise and fall within that space between the shutter and the window. Whereas when you have a true impact window with a sheet of glass protected by a couple polybutyl layers, that prevents the glass from separating if it breaks. It may spider out if it gets hit, but that poly layer stays intact and the wind can't get in the house and neither can the rain. You may have to repair that window pane, which is no fun and rather costly, but it protects your home from getting pressurized, so that's a good thing. There are certain framing and anchoring requirements for impact windows. You have to have fasteners maybe every 3 or 4 inches around so that you can spread the load into the building. The window bucks have to be built a certain way with a certain strength. The window itself, the materials have to be certain thicknesses, and all this is and this is all predicated after 1992's Hurricane Andrew, which basically destroyed the area down near southeast Miami, down in the Homestead region, and it just caused a rewrite of basically building codes in our Florida and many other states. Now, for storm panel systems, you can use corrugated panel systems if you have non-impact windows. You can use a roll-down shutter window. You can have a button that you push, and you can have the shutter roll down. You can crank it down yourself. You can have accordion shutters. They're one of the cheaper options that many people put in. They just kind of close like curtains on the outside of a home, and then you lock them. The problem is they're very noisy because they move and they rattle a little bit, and they're much harder to maintain because they have so many moving parts. So there are a lot of different things that you can do to protect your home. Again, the question was, you got a $700,000 home, why do they have non-impact windows? It was probably a cost thing. It was probably not fun to invest to put in windows at the time. They only get more expensive over time, so I would think if anybody wants to change them over, now's the time to do it rather than waiting. But hey, if it's important for a family to have a screen house and to have a pool and a spa and all the toys, that's fine. That is their choice. Just keep in mind that sometimes it might be better to consider investing some money in your home, even if it's a little bit over time, like just the 6 second-story windows and leave the bottom ones for later. Put some of this passive hurricane protection on it, especially if you get older. I'm 60 now. I'm not getting any younger. I don't want to be climbing ladders and putting up panels and doing that sort of thing. That's another driver. You might want to do this stuff while you're young and you're working and you're capable, so that if you're going to be in your house in the older years, you can enjoy it and enjoy it safely. Hey, please give us a like. Consider subscribing to the channel if you got some value out of this. This is part of our Talk Wednesday series, and there's not a lot of visual in these videos. They're designed for you to listen to them while you're driving to work, while you're working, maybe you're in the garage, maybe you're working out or in the kitchen. We want to get this information out to you, so we've designed this series to make it easy for you guys to watch, to listen to, and just roll from video to video to try to get as much hurricane information as you can. So again, if you got value out of it, hey, please like and subscribe and definitely share with your circle. We'll see you again on another Wednesday. For now, stay safe, and thanks for listening and thanks for watching.